Alright, let's dive into this because it's one of those moments in sports that just makes you pause and think, what really just happened? We're talking about the Indian Wells match between Draper and Daniil Medvedev, where a hindrance call completely flipped the narrative. And honestly, it's not just about the call itself. It's about the layers of sportsmanship, rules, and human judgment that come into play. So, let's break this down. First off, the hook here is obvious. A controversial hindrance call in a high-stakes match. But what makes this really interesting is how both players handled it. Draper, who's defending his title, gets penalized, and instead of blowing up, which, let's be honest, many players would, he takes the high road. Personally, I think this says a lot about his character. He acknowledges Medvedev's strength, saying, Daniil was the stronger player fair and square. That's maturity right there. But here's where it gets tricky. Draper admits he made a slight gesture with his hands, which technically could be considered a hindrance. The question is, was it enough to warrant losing the point? Draper doesn't think so, and honestly, I'm on the fence here. If you take a step back and think about it, the rally continued, and Draper won the point anyway. So, was the penalty really necessary? What this really suggests is that sometimes the rules can feel a bit too rigid, especially when they're applied in gray areas like this. Now, let's talk about Medvedev's side of things. He admits he was slightly distracted but doesn't feel like he cheated. Here's where it gets fascinating. He leaves the decision to the referee, which is both respectful and strategic. What many people don't realize is that in moments like these, players are not just competing against each other. They're also navigating the psychology of the game. Medvedev's response feels calculated, like he's aware of how his words will be perceived. From my perspective, this isn't just about winning or losing. It's about maintaining a certain image. And let's be real, in professional sports, image matters. One thing that immediately stands out is how Medvedev doesn't fully own the distraction but also doesn't deny it. It's a nuanced response, and I can't help but wonder if he's trying to play it safe. What makes this incident even more compelling is the broader conversation it sparks about sportsmanship and the role of referees. Draper's reaction, calm, reflective, and almost philosophical, shows a level of emotional intelligence that's rare in high-pressure situations. In my opinion, this is what sports should be about. Competing fiercely but also respecting the game and your opponent. But here's the kicker. The referee's decision feels like it missed the mark. If the rally continued and Draper won the point, what was the point of penalizing him? This raises a deeper question. Are referees sometimes too quick to enforce rules without considering the context? A detail I find fascinating is how Draper acknowledges the difficulty of the ref's job, saying, "It's a difficult situation for the ref." That's empathy right there, and it's something we don't see enough of in sports. Now, let's zoom out for a second. This incident isn't just about one match or one call. It's about the tension between rules and fairness. Sports are governed by rules, but sometimes those rules can feel disconnected from the spirit of the game. Personally, I think this is where the real debate lies. So, here's my closing thought. Sports are as much about the human element as they are about the rules. Draper's reaction shows grace under pressure, Medvedev's response shows strategic thinking, and the referee's call shows the challenges of making split-second decisions. If you take a step back and think about it, this incident is a microcosm of what makes sports so compelling. The drama, the uncertainty, and the humanity. What do you think? Was the hindrance call fair, or did it miss the mark? Let me know in the comments below, because honestly, this is one of those moments that's worth debating.